The wind ran wild through the trees as dusk settled over the valley. The fading sunlight painted the sky in strokes of orange and purple, but 12-year-old Ryan barely noticed the beauty. That evening, after another clash with his father, Ryan stormed out of his small brick house and marched toward the edge of the great shajar forest. That it wasn't home. Leaves rustled behind him as if warning him to turn back. But he ignored them and walked deeper until the cool shadows swallowed him. The scent of damp earth and pine soothed him, slowing his steps. He finally sat on a mossy log, letting his anger melt into the quiet surrounding him. Just as he took a deep breath, a soft crackle came from the bushes to his right. Ryan froze. The sound grew louder, like something small, but fast, moving through the undergrowth. A moment later, a rabbit leapt out. But it wasn't an ordinary rabbit. Its fur glowed faintly, as though moonlight was trapped beneath it. Its eyes were bright silver, intelligent and expressive. It stared directly at him, head tilted, whiskers trembling. Ryan blinked. That can't be real. The rabbit hopped closer, unafraid. It sniffed his shoe, then lifted its head as if assessing his soul. "You're not normal," Ryan muttered, leaning forward. "Where did you come from?" The rabbit took another hop and nudged his knee. When Ryan didn't respond, it jumped onto the log beside him and sat upright. For a long moment, they simply stared at each other. Then, unbelievably, Ryan felt something in his head, not a voice, not words, but a feeling. Like the rabbit was trying to communicate. "Follow me." The sensation was so clear it startled him. He jumped up. Hey, what was that?" The rabbit hopped off the log and glanced back at him, as if expecting him to follow. "No way," Ryan whispered. But the forest around him suddenly felt alive, humming with a strange energy. Something deep inside him told him that if he walked away now, he would regret it forever. So he followed. The rabbit led him over roots, under low branches, across a shallow stream that glimmered silver in the moonlight. They traveled for at least half an hour, until the trees thinned and a clearing opened ahead. Ryan gasped. The clearing pulsed with light, soft greens, blues, purples, shimmering like thousands of tiny stars floating inches above the ground. Flowers glowed. Stones glowed. Even the air glowed. "The glowing forest," Ryan whispered. He'd heard stories, tales old women told to scare children or make them sleep early. A forest blessed by ancient magic, a place where creatures lived who could speak to the heart. He had never believed it. Not until now. The rabbit hopped into the center of the clearing. Ryan stepped in after it, awe and fear mixing in his chest. As he moved, the light responded, swirling around his feet like soft fire. Then a sharp crack echoed. Ryan spun around. Something large loomed at the edge of the clearing, something darker than the shadows. A ripple of cold spread across the ground, snuffing out the glowing lights nearest to the creature. The rabbit stiffened. Ryan felt the message again, much stronger than before. "Run." But before he could move, the creature lunged into the clearing. It resembled a wolf but was far bigger, its fur charred black and its eyes a burning, unnatural red. Shadows clung to its body like living smoke, twisting and curling as if the creature carried darkness itself. A night stalker, a creature from the oldest stories. Born from fear. Fed by anger. Ryan stumbled backward. No. This can't be real. The night stalker snarled, baring fangs longer than Ryan's fingers. The rabbit leapt in front of Ryan, ears raised, glowing brighter, so bright its fur became pure white for a moment. "Hey! Stop!" Ryan cried, reaching for the rabbit. "You can't fight that thing." But the rabbit didn't move. Instead, it stepped forward as the night stalker lunged. A flash of white light burst from the rabbit, slamming into the creature's chest and sending it stumbling back. But the glow dimmed instantly, flickering as though it had used too much energy at once. The night stalker roared. The darkness swirling around it grew thicker, spreading across the ground like ink. Plants shriveled where the shadow touched them. The rabbit trembled, exhausted. Ryan felt panic rising. He had no weapons, no strength, no plan. He was just a boy. But something inside him, something deep and bright, awoke. A warm glow pulsed in his chest. He gasped as the air around him thickened with invisible power. The rabbit looked back at him. In his mind, the message came again. I don't know how," Ryan shouted. But the rabbit stepped closer and touched its forehead to his hand. Light surged through him like fire. His vision blurred. His heart pounded, not with fear, but with something stronger, courage. The glow spreading from him matched the rabbit's light. Their lights intertwined, swirling upward like two streams joining into one powerful beam. The Night Stalker sensed the change and charged. Ryan raised his arm instinctively. A shield of shimmering light burst from his palm, forming a barrier just as the creature slammed into it. The impact shook his bones, but the shield held. "Oh!" Ryan gasped. I did that." The rabbit leapt beside him, glowing fiercely again. Together, their combined light pushed back against the shadows crawling toward them. The Night Stalker roared again, its form expanding, darkness billowing outward like a storm. "Ryan!" A voice echoed in his mind, clearer than any before. Ryan clenched his fists. "I believe." A beam of radiant white light shot from his chest, exploding outward. The rabbit unleashed its own burst at the same time. The lights merged in midair, forming a spiraling column that engulfed the Night Stalker. The creature screamed as the brilliance consumed it. Shadows evaporated like smoke in wind. One final roar, and the Night Stalker collapsed, dissolving into nothing. Silence fell. The clearing brightened again as the glowing plants revived. The floating lights returned, circling Ryan and the rabbit like tiny spirits celebrating. Ryan fell to his knees, breathing hard. The rabbit hopped to him and nuzzled his cheek. "Thank you," Ryan whispered, stroking its glowing fur. He realized then that the warmth in his chest hadn't faded. Something of the rabbit's magic, its courage, its strength, now lived inside him. "Why did you bring me here?" he asked softly. "Why me?" The rabbit looked into his eyes. A final message filled his mind. Ryan swallowed the lump in his throat. He didn't know what battles awaited him in life, but tonight he had discovered something important. He wasn't weak. He wasn't helpless. He wasn't alone. The rabbit hopped away a few steps, paused, then looked back at him. It was time to go. Ryan stood up, took a deep breath, and followed the glowing creature through the forest. When he reached the edge of the trees, the rabbit stopped. Ryan knelt beside it. "Will I see you again?" The rabbit blinked slowly, gently. And then it disappeared into the glowing forest. Ryan wiped his eyes, stood up straighter, and began the walk home. He didn't know what waited for him there, but he knew one thing for sure. He had faced darkness and survived. He had fought beside magic and won. And somewhere deep inside, a warm light continued to glow, guiding him for